Well, hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Now, today's the day we're going to see whether this little baby works, the AWA Radiola 450P. Now, I've made quite a few videos before this one. Hopefully there's not too many more. At the moment, I've continuation from the last video. I've mounted the speaker transformer in just temporarily. I haven't mounted the speaker because I've got work to do on it. So you guys are seeing as much as what I've seen so far. This is all happening right now. Okay, so I don't know whether this is going to work. As I said, we've had this thing in so many pieces. This has been stripped down. So there's our speaker connected. Okay, multimeter there, which I'll show you in a minute. Now, valve placements. As you probably know, we numbered them, 1 being the 3S4. So we go 1, 2, 3, and 4 because I've got the dots on here. And there's not much documentation on where the valves go, but it's not that hard to work out. Just putting the dots on them, just helps me know what sequence they go in. Okay, here we go, guys. That's a brand new socket on that fella. So, and if you're not real sure about what I'm doing here, there's about 4 videos on this beforehand. So, yeah, go back and have a look at those. Now, number 2. And number 2 is a 1S5. So we put our 1S5 in. This is a bit nerve-wracking, especially with you guys watching this, because I really don't know what's going to happen here. Number 3 is a 1T4. So we'll get him in here. Okay. Hopefully we can get some sound out of this. And number 4, or valve 4, a 1R5, which is your first RF and oscillator. He's in. All are in. Okay. Now, I'm looking for a noise. I'm not looking for the thing to jump into life, actually. On our circuit, I haven't connected our loop antenna here at the moment. I'm going to see whether we've got any activity on this area here, which will be on the tuning gang, but I haven't got this section hooked up at the moment. Not real sure whether this needs to be tuned via the this loop, which is actually in the lid, which is actually in the lid of the radio. So, yeah, to just see whether this whole thing is going to work, I've just left that out for the moment. Okay. Now, here I have a power supply. Now I'm going to double check things. Should be, that goes to the ground of the radio. This should be our 1.5 volt supply for the filaments. And that looks pretty close to 1.5 to me. So, we'll hook up our 1.5 volts, which is our battery line over here, which is our D cells. And I'm just going to check the current draw on these, which is about 100 milliamps, 150 milliamps, which is about right. Okay, the filaments are now on. Now over here, this is our B battery supply. This is our supply from my high voltage supply. Now this is 67.5 volts for the plates, or well, the valves. So I'm going to check the voltage here to make sure. We should have 67.5. And I better turn the power supply on. Okay, 67.7. I think that's pretty close enough. Okay, now we'll just turn the supply off while we hook this up. We'll put our negative onto our B plus battery supply, our B battery supply, our plus onto there. So that's our 67.5 volt supply. Okay, let's hit the big button for 67.5. I do have this limited to 100 milliamps at the moment, and see what happens. Okay, we're on. We have 64.7. And we don't think we have any voltage. Don't think we've got any audio there. Nothing there at the moment. Now, I'm not real sure whether any of these valves are any good. So let's see if we've got audio. There is no audio. Do we have B plus going to the 3S4? Yes, we do. But we have absolutely no audio. We've got our speaker connected. It's very possible that the 3S4 has a fault, but we have no sign of audio at all. Okay, turn our B plus off. Let's have a think about this. Got B plus here. Now, 3S4s do have a problem from time to time. That is dead cold. I'm not real sure about that valve. I do have another one here. Let's try another 3S4 in it. Okay, we have a brand new old stock 3S4. So we should be right with this fella, if this is the problem. New 3S4 is in. Turn the volume back down. We will now, I didn't have my mic on. We will now hit it again with HT. I will monitor the HT. And we're on. Okay. Do we have any audio? There's not much there at the moment. I'll just try and get this speaker lead. We've sort of got it around the wrong way here, but anyway. Do we have anything on the pot? We have no audio. None. Do we have HT on the plate? Yes, we do. Do we have 3? Do we have negative 2 volts? That's our screen grid. Okay. We better start looking at a voltage chart and trying to work out here what's going on. I'm just going to take these off for a moment and reroute them over here. Now I'm going to get a small signal injector and just inject it into there because just seeing as the output stage working, I know the transformer's okay. We have voltage going through the transformer and we do have negative bias there. So really our output stage of the 3S4 should be working. So let me get my little signal injector and we'll see what he says. Well, here he is, guys. A little old, realistic, horrible little signal injector. You press the button, it injects just a broadband of right across the spectrum noise. It's a simple little thing and it seems to work. Okay, let's see what happens. Nothing. Okay, our output stage is definitely not working. Why? Maybe something to do with the filament. So our filament is 1 and 7. So let's check pin 1. Let's check here. Where are we? Pin 1 is there. That's our filament, 1.3. Should be fine. And 7 is ground. That should be fine. Okay. So we have filament. So pin, I'm trying to find the index here, guys. So we're on the plate there, which is pin 2. So this is pin 7, which is, yes, definitely our filament. Now, I'll just check to make sure our filament voltage going in is correct. Where are we? Down here, 1.3. We might up that to maybe 1.5. Okay, so we've got good filament there. We still have no audio. So we have 1.5 there on the filament, and that is pin 7 and pin 1. Let's have a look at how this is wired. Let's have a look. I'll have to have a look on the screen here. So we've got the center tap, pin 7 and pin 1 are joined together. So our 1.5 volts is coming in there I think, yes, to ground, which is, yeah, pin 5. We do have something not connected here, I think. Pin 1, pin 2, pin 3, pin 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The screen grid is supposed to be connected to B+. And if I look in here, I don't have pin 4 connected to B+. I would say that's our problem. Okay, let's, I hope you didn't see the back of my head then. Wasn't taking any notice of the camera. So, yeah, pin 4, we will running. I'll show you the circuit. Pin 4, pin 1, 2, 3, 4, screen grid, straight to B+. Okay, so we'll connect him up to our B+ line, then we'll try this again. I'll just pause the video while I'm connecting, and then we'll try it again. Righto, guys. I'll get a pointer of some description. I've wired our pin 4 there to our HT on here. Okay, so it just goes across there. Temporary at the moment until I find out whether this is going to work. So now we will turn on our filaments again. Let's check the filament voltage. We can down here, and filament 1.2. It's actually drawing a little bit more juice than what it was. There we go. So filament 1.5. Now HT on. And our HT now is 60 volts. Seems to be drawing a bit of juice. And turn him up. And we still don't have anything. Okay. So on pin 4 now, we have 60 volts. Now we might have to take that up a little bit. Shouldn't have to anyway, but we'll increase the current, our voltage rather, just a little bit on that one. We'll run at about 65 volts. Okay, so we've got 65. Let's put our little injector on here. We still have nothing. What's going on? What's going on, guys? Yeah, you can see the meter there. Okay. So our bias here is correct. We have -7, and we have some sort of audio there. We have a little bit of audio there. Okay. Okay. So, our second valve here, which is a 1S5, doesn't appear to be working. Nothing there, nothing on the volume pot, nothing there. But on our output now, where I was going there is the output tube, pin 3. So where I was spearing that signal in was this point here, and actually on that point. So we're getting sound from the output because we can push it into the grid, and we're getting audio there. So let's trace back to this fella and find out, and probably see what the hell I've missed on this side. Okay, we'll have a poke around here and see what we can find, because we need audio here at this point to the grid. Let's see what our screen grid is, and make sure we've got filament voltage on the 1S5. Okay. Righto, guys. Well, just checking there. We don't seem to have any voltage on the 1S5 plate, but I'm a little bit suspect on the 1S5, so I'm going to change him next. He is slightly warm. I think he's working, but whether he's going or not, let's try changing this one, because I can't see anything else there obvious. So I'll grab another valve. Okay, we will do this first. There could be still a wiring problem here. Brand new 1S5. Look at that. Let's see if we can make any sense of this fella. Put him in. Okay. Filaments on. HT on. Didn't jump into life for me. Oh. Okay. Let's spray that socket. We might have something jumping into life here. Puts a little bit of contact cleaner on this socket. Put him back on. And we possibly have our transformer wired up back the front. It's very possible, because one side of the transformer output is to ground, and if you get it the wrong way around, which is very possible, that could have happened. Okay, let's see if we got anything else happening here. Couple of noisy sockets there, but okay. We have audio. And squeal. just because the thing is out of phase, the output transformer, speaker transformer is out of phase. So that's no great problem. Now next is what's happening up the front end here. Have we got anything here? No, not really. Not much on the front end. I think we have a microphonic valve somewhere, which is probably not real good, because I have no idea whether the original valves worked in this, so this is a mystery. We'll probably change this fella. We'll do the swapping while we're moving our way along. Yeah, we're sort of getting back to this way. But anyway, I'll remove this one. We'll swap him over just as a precaution, because, as I said, all those valves that were in it originally could have been faulty. I have no way of testing these on my tester, so it'll be changing them with another known good one. Tis a 1T4. So this is the valve we're working on at the moment. We have good audio, everything happening here, but nothing happening here. So just going to change him. It's an easy way to see, are we cruising along? Is it the valve? Is it something else? Is it wiring? I think our wiring's okay. There we go. Now, HT back on now. And we appear to have some sort of audio, some sort of RF, I think. Let's see here. Not much there. Yes, we have something happening up here. We must have another faulty or dirty socket here. Let's just spray him, see how we go. Okay, power back on. Something's happening here. Can we put a bit of an antenna on this thing? I don't have much of an antenna in here. Not much happening. Not much happening at all. Do we have... Definitely got front end. is our oscillator working? That'll probably be the next trick. But then again, we do have a 1R5 before it. We also have quite a nasty socket there. I'm just making sure that nothing is moving around, nothing is disconnected. My last valve, which was the 1T4, was no good in there, but we couldn't get what we've got there. I'm going to change our first valve, the 1R5, as well, just in case. We have a new 1R5. Put him in and see if he makes any difference. These are fiddly little things to work on. Okay, he's in, HT on. And we have about the same response. Do we have shorting plates? Actually, that plate there does look like could be shorting. Have they been hit? Actually, there is a plate. There is a plate in here. Now, I don't know whether I'm going to be able to show you this. I'll bring the camera a bit closer for you. Okay, that's a little bit closer for you. Now, if I can find a screwdriver, you can see that fella there has been pushed in, and he's certainly touching when he opens right up. And I don't know whether he's shorting in the meantime, so I'll just bring him out a little bit. That's better. That's not shorting now. But got a suspicion we don't have an oscillator running. Okay, now there is a problem here with these pins on this socket, this noisy one. So I'm just going to just get a screwdriver in there and just squeeze them gently a little bit together to get them all contacting nicely. They appear to be a little bit loose, but just tighten him up a bit. Okay, let's see how this goes. Power on. That's better. Here we go. That's got that fixed. Not bad. But we're not worried about that just at the moment. Okay. Don't have much happening there. Okay. Now our loop antenna goes onto this point. And it comes around onto the grid of the valve 105, which is pin 1. No, it's not. It's pin 6. Pin 6. So we've got 7 pin. Where are we? Pin 7, pin 6 in here. So can we get anything there? Oh, we have something there. Okay, is that here as well? Yes. What do we have here? Oh, can you hear what I can hear? We have T-Rex. Very, very weak. Righto, guys. So what I've decided to do, it's sort of working, it's sort of not. We need to tune and everything. I've decided to connect this loop antenna. Now, this is the case to get this working. The loop antenna is in the back of the lid. We will have a look at it later. The hinges are the connectors, and this, the black, goes on to more or less the lower end, the AGC line, and this fella connects onto the aerial of the gang. I'm going to just try this because it seems though some of these little fellas, they do have to have this as a load on the tuning circuit to work. So now I'm going to just hook up this fella temporarily and see can we get any better volume or get to a point of alignment anyway. And this is actually an AGC line, so it's not just an aerial point. Okay. Where can I get? I'll bring you guys up a little bit higher here so you can just see what I'm doing. That looks a bit better. Okay. Turning back on. And I can hear a station trying to come in already. That tuning gang's a bit sus, actually. Let's see here. See, can we get him tuned in a bit? Just get on the aerial trimmer. I think we're a long way out of alignment, but we are getting there. What's happening here? We are getting somewhere. We better not keep that going. Something is amiss here somewhere. Should have an ABC station. Yeah, I think just there's something loose here. We'll just have to have a bit of an inspection. Well, guys, we've worked out a little bit to get this thing going a little bit better. It's performing there. Valve sockets, just very, very dirty, corroded. We've gone over them. Actually, I had to use a little bit of WD-40 to sort of get them, yeah, a little bit more aggressive than a contact cleaner. But they've come up nice. I've tightened them all, and all is good. There was another scrape on that vein of the tuning gang, the aerial gang. It was catching in another spot. It had been pushed in. What else have I done? Not a lot of other things. There was a little screw at the front here that was a little bit loose. Hence, it was a little bit of a bad connection between the main chassis and the front of the radio, which was causing a little bit of interference as well. The alligator clips weren't making good contact at the filament on the battery holder. So that was creating a little bit of anxiety with it as well. But yes. Now, as I said, we do have a whistle there because of phasing on the audio output transformer. That will be rearranged very shortly. And otherwise, all is, you won't pick up. I'm sorry, I turned that up a bit. We just can't pick up anything here in the workshop. 2 stations.
Just making sure the soil is in good condition. You've got.
But anyway, the next little bit with this fella. Oh, also, before I move on, the hinges weren't making good contact with our loop antenna. So once again, lube them up, clean them up, and that is now perfect. They're making good contact. There is no problems, no static or anything there. Okay, as I was going to say, a little bit of tuning now. We'll do the IF cans, so forth. We'll follow the book. Most of the instructions are on the service manual, actually. So there's very little guessing. So we should be able to get this little unit spot on. Spot on. Now, also, what I want to check is the current draw of the filament and the current draw of the B+. So I'll be putting my meter in line. We may do that now. Now you can hear that static there. That's actually a bit of a bad connection with the battery line. Okay, here's the B+. Let's see what sort of current draw we've got on B+. Okay, there we are, 10 milliamps. Exactly 10 milliamps at 65 volts, at 67.5 volts. We're drawing 10 milliamps. So that's our current draw. That's what we've got to supply when we're making up our little fictitious battery setup for this fella. So I'm making a 67.5 volt battery pack for this. And now we'll try the filament line and see how much actually the filaments are drawing. We'll put this in line with the filaments. And there's our current draw. If I can get this thing's got to be polished up a little bit. 273 milliamps. Now I'll hit the HT back on. No change. Everything's still going nicely. So there's our current draw. 268 to 270 milliamps. And that's at 1.5 volts, okay? That's running from our battery on the battery line. So 270 milliamps and 10 milliamps on the B plus, the B battery, or the HT, or whatever you want to call it, 67.5 volts. Let's stop this for a minute. I'll get reset up, ready for the alignment, and we'll do our RF alignment right through, start to finish. Okay, let's get into it. Right, we're all set up for our alignment procedure. Got a speaker connected here for the moment. I'll connect the meter after we get things operational. Found the alignment tool that actually fits this fella, so that'll be handy. And I have the high voltage power supply coming there. Now, this low voltage for our valves, for the heaters, we'll connect him up here and here. And we have current draw there, so that is the valves are working. Let's put some HT on it. And it's working. As you can hear. Now, just going to turn him off while we have a look here. This is me with my little clipboard here. Okay. We'll, where's my mouse? Well, we'll just flick the meter off there for a moment. So, okay, well, here's our alignment procedures. Connect the high side of the generator to, this is the start on our 455, to the aerial section of the tuning gang, the front portion. Well, that's easy enough. And of course, that'll be down here where that green wire is that goes to the loop. We set it on 540 on the dial, so the end of the dial, so we close him right up, and we put 455 on the generator, and L4, 5, 6 and 7 are our IF transformers. So we work our way back. So we start at 7, 6, 5, 4. So there we have 7, 6, 5 and 4. Now, which one's the top and which one's the bottom on these cans, I'm not real sure. But anyway, we'll start on this transformer here, and we'll do 6 and 7. Okay, let's get a signal happening. And now it does say 455. So, recall number 10, which is 455. we connect the ground of our generator to the ground of the radio, and this fella onto the aerial side of our tuning gang, like so. Okay, put some HT on. Now, we'll close the gang right up. We don't have anything happening there at the moment, so we'll give it some level. Now I'm taking the speaker off and I'm putting our meter on. Now I haven't got a switch to do this. It'd be really nice if I just sit down and put this on, this switch on a speaker. Okay, let's okay, what do we got here? Let's switch him back on. There we go. Okay, give it a little bit of volume there. See the meter? Let's start on the top of the last transformer, which is supposed to be, well, 6 and 7, but yeah. And up we go. That is a long way off. A long way off. Okay, now we'll do underneath, if I can get to him. Should be able to. This is a bit tricky to get in here. It's actually very tricky to get in here. I might have to unsolder and move a resistor, I think. We'll come back to him. I think I've got to lift the resistor there. Now, we'll go to the next fella. And not bad. Pretty well peaked there. Now, can we get at him underneath? Yes, we can. And there's his peak right there. Okay, we'll do that again. Give it a little bit more. Bit more signal there so we can see what we're doing. Righto. We'll come back to this fella. And we keep repeating this exercise. Very close. I wished I could get in on this fella. There we go. We're in there, and there's our peak. Got him. Bit of a squeeze, but we got in there. Go back to the top. And peak him up again. Right. There's our IF done. And I normally put a bit of, on these sort of fellas, the screw type, normally put a bit of my wife's nail polish on there, just to, yeah, keep him keep him in order. Righto. The next thing, and it says, repeat above adjustments until the maximum output is obtained. Okay, so we've done that bit. The next bit is inductively coupled to the loop. Now, it does say down here, 3 turns of wire, about 6 inches in diameter, and more or less place it over the loop from the generator. And then we do 600, 1500 and 1500. And we adjust the oscillator at 6, the oscillator core, then the oscillator adjustment on the trimmer, and then 1500 for the aerial trimmer. Okay, so we'll do that now. Right, I've got just a meter lead, set him across the top of the loop antenna in the lid, and connected to our signal gen. Now we put our sig gen on 600 kilohertz, and let's see here. 600 is number 11. Okay, so we're on 600. Okay, guys. Well, we're almost sitting on 600 at the moment on the dial, and we're just that's right on him. Our next one is 1500, and we adjust the oscillator trimmer, okay, at 1500. So we'll set our dial at 15, put the generator at 1500, and then we will adjust our oscillator, which is C6. And if you're familiar with the circuit by now, C6 is, where are we? C6, this fella here. So that's where we're on the oscillator coil now, and we're adjusting C6 to pull in 1500. That fella there, I'll have to get another tool. I'll get a small screwdriver. Okay, and this fella, there he is. And there's our dial, and we're at 1500 there. So the mark is, that's more or less, roughly, where it is. And that's working well. Now, we've got to peak the aerial trimmer for maximum. Fella here, that's our oscillator that we just adjusted. Now this one is our aerial. Now I am going to put the meter on for this one for you guys, so that you can actually see a little bit about what's going on. This is a little bit difficult to work on while we're trying to maneuver everything and record and everything else. Okay, we'll increase our volume a little bit. There you go. You can see it on the meter. Okay, and we peak this fellow at 1500, and then our alignment's done. And pretty close to peaked. There we go. That's it, guys. The alignment of this little fella, thank God, is now finished. And I say that because, it's not an easy radio to just set up easily on the bench. Okay, connect up the speaker. Get rid of our signal. And we should have a station up here somewhere. And we do have to do something with this tuning mechanism. It's a little bit bumpy on the edges, so he's got to be cleaned up, and that's probably our next job. And get off America and go down here, the ABC.
Rather than whole animals or even animals, then we've got a potential to be more. And if we can be more accurate in doing those, then we can fail products that we're going to fail later anyway. Earlier.
There we go. Okay. That's it for the alignment, guys. What I've showed you, we'll turn him off at the moment. Now, our tuning there, it's all run with a little spring here and a little pulley that pushes up against the tuning gang, the actual tuning wheel or dial or whatever you want to call it. And it's very notchy would be the word. So I think the next thing with this, I'll just get some things out of the road here, disconnecting. Just disconnect that fella, just because I want to show you what's next, or what we're going to do next. Okay, we'll get that off, and we've still got a couple of wires here to tidy up. Now, what I can also do for you is turn my meter off on, yeah, that's better. So you got a full screen there. This is all, yeah, got to be all connected up properly in around here. There's been a few things tacked together. Righto. So the radio's working, it's going nicely, everything's good. Yeah, tuning's a little bit notchy. Now it works on, I don't know why it's, looks like there's some material in there, and it rides on the edge here. So I want to take this piece off. This is a spring in there. I want to find out how to get this off, and certainly without altering any of our tuning or anything. So we would naturally go to there, and our 550 is, we'll mark this fella before he comes off, just in here anyway, and then clean him up, oil this, speaker next. We've got to put a little rivet in here. I'll show you a little bit later on in the case. When we're doing the case, this is actually an earth slide that when you open the door, the slide goes along here and keeps the door grounded as such, so there's no interference or anything comes from the door. But anyway, I'll show you that. And then we've got to make up something here for our little on-off switch. So yeah, that'll be an interesting one. All right, let's have a look at this. Right, well, we've taken our dial off. There he is. A couple of little set screws. Just undo them. Now there's a little bit of touch up here. I'll do a bit of cleaning. The edges of him have to be smoothed off a little bit. He's a little bit little bit jittery around the edges. So we'll work on that and clean this fella up. This one here, I've got to get this little fella out. Now, this spring seems to be jammed in underneath the front of the tuning gang and the actual front of the radio. I don't know whether that's a technique that was used or not. Let's see. We'll try and just loosen him off a little bit. Yeah, now he's going to come out. Here we go. And this fella, just a little circlip. Once again, needs cleaning and a little bit of oil. And this fella doesn't really want to come out. There he goes. There he goes. Okay. Certainly needs a bit of lube. He's a little bit hard to move. Right, yeah. Certainly needs cleaning up and lubing. Now this little roller, it looks like he's got some solder. That looks like a speck of solder in there. That's probably, could be a couple of pieces. Anyway, we'll see what we can do with him. Looks like it's all riveted together, so whatever we've got to do it in there. But I'm going to get him out, clean him up, put some a little bit of oil or grease or something in there to get him running smoothly and clean this fella up. Now, the other thing I've noticed here with the tuning gang, it's very, very loose. So at the same time, we'll just tighten our lock nut just a little bit to make him, just a little bit tighter to turn. Also, when we're doing that, we can lift this fellow, I think. Yep. And we clean up the contacts on this fellow so that he makes good contact, a good earth point between our wiper, our shaft and the case of the tuning gang. Okay, so we'll do that as well. All right, I'll come back after I've done all that. And the next job we're on to is a little speaker repair using liquid electrical tape. Great stuff, this, for speakers, anyway, that I've found anyway. There's a few little cracks in this speaker and a couple of dents which I've straightened out, and he does test okay. So we're just filling in the cracks and hopefully it doesn't go any further. Don't think it will. They're only fine cracks on this. If there's anything major, we'd do a little bit more with the cone, but yeah, I think he'll be okay. He will resurrect okay. Now I'm going to put a very low signal into him now and just make sure that everything is right, that he works, which will be just a little transistor radio and spear the earphone socket there, or headphone, into this and make sure he plays okay. Okay, we'll check the speaker. Yeah, that's okay. He sounds pretty good to me. At least it's working. And with this radio, that's a big bonus because it hasn't been real easy, this one. Right. Next job. Trying to arrange these leads so they'll reach properly. This is very strange. It doesn't look to be the original transformer of this. May not be. If it is, it's probably been put on the wrong way around because these are supposed to come out the bottom, and these fellas, when it goes on, go out the top. And yeah, it goes. Yeah, it goes in there like so, I think. Not real sure. But anyway, let's do this next and see if we can. We might have to extend these fellas. Okay, now what I've done with the transformer, unsoldered him, turned him around so our plate and HT leads on the downside, so we don't have to join these fellas. They will be long enough once this goes in. That gives us plenty of room. I've had to put a bit more on this fella so that he connects in with the speaker once we get the speaker in. Now, speaker only goes in one way on this fella. It's got the two threaded riv nuts on the bottom of him, so he will just push us down into position like so. We'll line him up with these screws, just leave them a little bit loose. And now our transformer. Now, first of all, we've got to connect this wire. One wire goes to ground, okay, on these. That wire of the secondary of the transformer goes to ground. So, yeah, we've only got one wire to put on the speaker because the other terminal on the speaker, I think you saw earlier, is grounded. Okay, so let's put this on the speaker. My poor old soldering iron needs a new tip badly. There we go. Now we'll spear our wires just down beside the speaker, between the capacitor and the speaker magnet. So now we mount the transformer. This restoration may help you if you're doing one of these. There could be a few things in here that you didn't know, but then again, you may have known and I didn't know. So it all helps one another doing these projects. Okay, tighten him up. Tighten the two bottom ones. Speaker and transformer are in. And this is all greased up and everything else is that's running nicely now. It's easy to turn, but stays on the station. And now we'll wire our transformer. Now this fella, the lighter coloured one, actually went to the valve, so that's just how it was wired on the secondary phase. We could have swapped those wires around and put, I think it was red, put the red to the B+. But in this case, whoever did this before me had swapped it around. Now we'll take off this bit of temporary wire here. Right, certainly have plenty of wire there on the transformer now. Okay, that's done. We might do another test now to make sure our transformer's working, everything's working. Starting to look like a little radio now. Yeah, bit of red wine. Excellent. Okay, she's all working, this little fella. Now I'm just going to switch him off for the time being. Now, this little radio is, this video has gone on long enough, so we're going to call it quits now. I've got his loop antenna connected up and cleaned his dial, and as you saw, mounted the speaker, transformer, everything. It's going really nicely. Very, very happy so far. Now, this being a portable radio, it's got to be portable. It's high voltage. So it's a valve set. So we can't buy 67.5 volt batteries anymore. Yeah, we can string a few together, a few 9 volt ones, and make up, we can put 7 of those in a pack. I don't want to do that. I want to make an inverter for this unit in the shape of a battery pack and noise free, if we can possibly do that. I've got a few ideas in mind on how to do that. Low frequency switching, so forth. Certainly nothing Chinesey high speed switching type. That won't work with these fellas, not with AM. Now, another thing I wanted to show you is, just before we finish this video up, is the loop antenna that's in here. So I'll just disconnect the antenna from the radio before we finish this video and just show you what's inside this, and yeah, just a little bit of an insight as to what there is. The next video will be putting it in the case, finishing up the case, and hopefully by then I will also have a bit of an idea on an inverter, how we're going to do it. I want it to run off 6 AA cells, and we get 67.5 volts out. So it's sort of got to be regulated, and it's sort of got to be noise free. It's got to fit in the shape of the original battery case. So there's a few things there that we've got to do. The 2 D batteries at the, I don't know whether they're Ds or Cs. I think they're Ds. That's something I've got to look up, but that's an easy thing. They're only 1.5 volt cells, but it's the high voltage in this that's got to be done. I can't walk around with this relying on power. I want to be absolutely hands-free portable, and we can walk around and hear it going as it was intended in the first place. So that's what we're up to. Let's have a look at the loop antenna. Okay, just a quick look inside the case. We have a couple of little hinges on either side. Our wires are attached in there onto small plates, just soldered on, and that's our aerial connection. As I said, the bottom end goes to our AGC, and the top end goes to our antenna gang of our tuning gang. Okay, let's have a look in here. Now, this is the unit, and here's our back panel. So let's have a look and see what's inside here. This was also a logging card where you used to log your stations. maybe a bit of DXing at night and so forth. Would have been great fun in its day. Not many people know about DXing these days, but I think it might be making a bit of a comeback, actually. It's good to see the old analog stuff getting a go on. The card, it also has Victoria, maybe Tasmania, New South Wales. But I can see 3XY there. I can see one there. Not real sure about my NT. Yeah, it's a shame this has been torn on the back. There's not much there to report. Nothing. Now, in here we go. There is our standard little loop antenna. Now I'm going to just tidy up this, clean up a bit before I put all this back together. And I'm showing you this now because we won't be doing this on the next video, but I'm just showing you what is inside. Obviously Litz wire, and yeah, just solders onto the 2 hinges. So that's it, guys. That's how the antenna system works in this little fella, and it's just held with 2 screws. Okay guys, so that's it for the lid. Our on-off switch, and as I've said before, a little pin that goes down in through here, out the bottom of this case here, and actually connects with our switch being at the bottom of this radio. Now that peg, actually, when you close the lid, pushes your switch open and turns it off. You lift the lid, goes up, and the power turns on. Now I need something that will go across there, maybe as a small plate or something. I'm not real sure what is supposed to go across there. I cannot find any pictures or details on this, so if any of you guys out there have got a picture or know what sort of pin and plate go here to push that switch open, please leave them in the comments. And yeah, I have a couple of these radios, both missing this little part. Now I would say that little pin probably falls out when you take the radio out of the case, and yeah, it seems to be never put back in. And of course you can't turn it off. We could put a switch on the radio, but no, we're going to restore this as it was. So that little pin on the door has to push that switch open. That's what we've got to do. So I'll be doing that, looking at that, looking at your comments. If you guys can help me in any way there, I'd really appreciate. And I'm sure there'll be lots and lots of other techs around the place that come across these. They're a common little radio, but yeah, if we can all help each other, would be really good. Now, I was going to put a rivet in this little fella. I ended up just putting a screw in him. It's making good contact on the earth track, which on the door is this little fella here. And as you open and close the door, this door is a trick to open with, yeah. He runs along. You probably can't see that real well, but he actually runs along on that little track. We're going to call this video quits just at the moment until the next one, which will be the final in the series, and it'll give me time to work out this, how we're going to power this little fella with this inverter. So guys, until next time, there'll be a special preview or a sneak peek at the next project, which is a very interesting one, way older than this fella. The next project, which will be happening very soon, but the next video on this one will be the finale. As I said, into the case, switch fixed, and somehow getting ahead with the inverter. Okay, until the next video, bye for now.
We worked our week, we need a day, 24-hour getaway.